Hey friends, welcome back. It's another week. I want to give you some more practical tips on how to take control of your finances, how to take the fear out of taking control of your finances, and it really is about baby steps. Last week I shared about digital cash envelopes, and another episode I did was around understanding your paycheck because that really, in my journey at least, I experienced that was the beginning of my financial freedom quest. I needed to understand where my money came from and what was happening in my paycheck. And then that's where I started with my budget. Um, Not so secret, I really still don't like the word budget because it feels constricting. It's a cash flow plan. Where's my money going? I'm in charge. I get to say where it's going. That's the idea, is that you're back in control. You're in the driver's seat of where your money's going so that you feel the confidence that you do have what it takes to take control of your finances. So I'm going to add another practical tip this week, and it's around adding one more category to your cash flow plan. Like I said last week, I talked about digital cash envelopes and how you can open up a checking account, plan your spending in that checking account for specific categories like food, and see if you can stick to that. Take a little bit out of your paycheck, put it in that checking account, and see how you do. By looking back 3 months to come up with what you think that number might be, an educated guess. That's all it is, educated guess. You're never going to be spot on, but it's a starting point and you adjust from there. So the next category I want you to think about when you're thinking about building your budget is recurring bill pay. We tend to feel overwhelmed, myself included, because I was thinking every single type of spending needed its own category for tracking. And when I started grouping things, think of how you group folders. I like to group spending because it makes it feel more digestible in my mind. So, like I shared before, I have a checking account where we spend specific amounts for food. We have a specific amount budgeted for gas and transportation. We have a specific amount budgeted for personal spend. There are three categories that are pretty consistent, pretty predictable for us. So we started with that. The other category, like I said, bill pay. Don't let it overwhelm you when you start peeling the layers back on how you spend your money. But I just love grouping anything that's recurring. I don't care what the category it falls under is. If it's a bill that I have to pay every month, it falls into recurring bill pay. Because guess what? I'm going to have to pay it every month. I don't care if it's insurance. I don't care if it's electricity. I don't care if it's a subscription. I don't care if it's tithing or giving. It doesn't matter to me what it is. It just matters to me that I know I have to pay it every month. So I want a whole category for those expenses that I have to pay every month. I can take a closer look at it later if I decide I want to kind of scrub it and say, what do I definitely need if I'm trying to find more margin in my paycheck, which means I want a little more cash left over at the end of the month to put towards something else. I'll take a look at that bill pay. But for now, don't worry about what you want to change. Just think about what it is. So give yourself, again, that 3-month rule. Look back 3 months. And don't forget the things that come up annually. You might have to kind of scan a little further back or think about things that come up annually. Sometimes memberships renew annually. For me doing this business, the cost of maintaining the URL comes up annually, things like that. So think about those oddball things that come up annually, but add that category to something you're going to take a look at and maybe start monitoring going forward. It helps you see what's coming in and out of your finances, but just make a list. And I will tell you up front, making that list can feel a little vulnerable because you start to see where your money's going. And sometimes you're like, oh yeah, I didn't know I had 15 different subscriptions to different streaming or whatever it is. It'll start kind of just bringing clarity and transparency to your expenses every month. But start with the bill pay because that's coming out of your paycheck, or it's something that you're not your paycheck, it's coming out of your bank account if it's automated, or you're paying that bill at the end of every month. So make that list. Don't worry about anything else but just one list. You can categorize it and group it later if you want to, but make that your next step. Put that list together. Look back 3 months. you can even start looking ahead and tracking it, get used to what that feels like, to just check, hey, did that amount come in same as last month? Did it change? If it changed, hey, maybe I'm going to look into why it changed, because some of those things automatically increase. Some of those subscriptions will pop up on you and you're like, you have to call them back and tell them to give you the next promotion. But anyway, start with that. See how that feels. I love hearing in the comments what maybe worked for you, what scared you, what's next on your plan for taking control of your finance. So please share that in the comments. We learn best together, and I really do love hearing from you. Thank you for tuning in again, and I'll see you next week.